Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
It is amazing everyone survived. Heart-stopping new video shows the moment of impact as an out-of-control driver slams into a bus stop. Sean?
Charges finally in the shooting death case of Wayne State Police Sergeant Colin Rose, but I'll explain why justice is still very far away.
All right, Sean, but we're going to begin here at 5 with a weather alert. 4 Live radar starting to light up, and it could be a while before things clear out. This unsettled weather is going to stick around through tonight and, in fact, into tomorrow.
Let's get over to Ben right now. He's busy tracking the radar. Ben?
Evan, we're likely to see more storms before we finally start to dry out, and that's probably not going to be until after midnight. And we are starting to increase the amount of thunderstorms right now on 4 Live radar. A lot of those centered right here in our metro zone, especially from Commerce Township out to Troy. This is one of those situations where the lightning is obscuring just how heavy the rain is in spots. Troy's really been getting soaked there over the last 30 minutes or so, and we've had another cell pop up just south of 69 there west of Port Huron. And we're also watching another complex that's going to be pushing into the western portions of Livingston and Washtenaw counties here shortly. So from Unadilla Township here at 543 to the Pinckney State Rec area just before 6 o'clock. Again, no warnings. This is not severe, but these have a tremendous amount of lightning and definitely some heavy downpours with them. Storms continuing right through 10 o'clock and likely through midnight as well. And the severe risk is still there, so don't let your guard down. We'll talk more about timing for tomorrow's round of storms. Not going to be much of a break. That's coming up in a few minutes, guys.
All right, Ben. Now to a developing story. Charges in the murder of Wayne State Sergeant Colin Rose.
Just a short time ago, 60-year-old Raymond Durham was formally charged with first-degree premeditated murder in the case.
I want to get right at Sean Lay, who's following this story. Sean, these charges were so long in coming, weren't they?
Certainly a big relief for so many. Someone finally being charged with the murder of Wayne State Police Sergeant Colin Rose. But things of those type of feelings certainly didn't last long. Ray Durham, the man charged in the case, went right to court. He wasn't even arraigned. He was sent right back for more psychiatric treatment. It has been an excruciating 8 months for the family of Wayne State Police Sergeant Colin Rose and his police chief. Rose shot and killed on duty last November. Today, a person has finally been charged in the case.
It's a huge weight. I had countless people come up to me and says, when are they going to find this guy?
In court just moments ago, the man charged in Rose's death, 60-year-old Raymond Durham. Durham is also charged with shooting 2 Detroit police officers last spring, and that's where this case gets complicated. Durham has already once been found not competent to stand trial for allegedly shooting those Detroit officers. He was ordered into treatment, but we are told he refuses to take his medication in the treatment facility and will again be found not competent to stand trial in the shooting of the Detroit officers. He will also be evaluated to see if his mental state allows him to understand the new charges he's facing in the Colin Rose murder. Yes, there are charges finally in that case, but will there ever be justice?
We lost a valuable member of our department. We lost a very young officer who had a great future ahead of him. Even though we know the inherent dangers and the occupational hazard of this job, you're never prepared for it.
It's just been one too many here in this great city of our officers being attacked.
But the bottom line right now, Raymond Durham sent right back to treatment. He'll be reevaluated before Judge Kenneth King in November. Devin?
Well, Sean, Durham has been in treatment then now how long?
Well, he was sent to treatment. We were there when Judge King sent him to treatment right away back in the beginning of May the 5th. They learned today in court that he has been sitting at the Wayne County Jail, has not been in treatment until just the past couple of days. There was no room for him at the treatment center, even though Judge King asked him to get in right away. So as you can see, everything's basically on hold until he gets the treatment he needs.
And that's part of a bigger story too, isn't it? All right, Sean. Kim?
Okay, well, now to new developments in this wild Amber Alert police chase that ended in a crash on Detroit's west side. Today, the man who police say was behind the wheel, Grady Barrett, made his first court appearance since being arrested. Mara McDonald is live outside federal court. And Mara, first things first, why is this hearing there at federal court?
Well, Kimberly, this for starters, Barrett was already in big trouble, but the FBI says he took this little girl across the state line, which means now he's in big federal trouble.
Grady Barrett led police on a chase that reached the triple digits and went on for more than an hour, all with 2-year-old Sandra Renee in the back seat of his pickup. He allegedly kidnapped the little girl in the middle of the night because he was angry at her mother. The FBI says he walked in with a machete, grabbed the child, and then took off, putting her in the back while he had a grown woman in the passenger seat. That woman tells the FBI she thought she was along for the ride to do the baby's hair. She had no idea this was a kidnapping, and then the chase would go on for hours as well as over the Ohio border. Barrett was hauled into federal court late this afternoon where he mumbled through most of his appearance. You could barely hear him.
Don't mumble now. When you were ranting and raving, you were loud and proud, so speak up.
His former girlfriend and Sandra Renee's mother just grateful that for now, he'll remain behind bars and out of their lives.
I have confidence in the state, the federal government, that they're going to give him what he asked for.
Back here live, one of the reasons Gloria Camper, who you just heard from, has such a hard time believing that Barrett's behavior in court is legit, the whole, mumbling, barely hear him thing, is in this federal criminal complaint, the FBI says in the middle of this kidnapping, he actually calls Camper's family and says, "Who's laughing now?" Kimberly, back to you.
Well, Mara, do we know how far he went into Ohio until he decided to turn around?
We do. Well, the FBI does. The passenger in that front seat admits, yes, she saw the state line and they went into Ohio, but they were tracking him, the FBI was, via his cell phone, and they pinged him as far south as Findlay, Ohio.
Is that right?
Back to you.
All right, Mara, thank you.
It was a day for family, friends, and colleagues to say goodbye to one of Detroit's finest, Kevin Ramsey. Hundreds traveled from across Metro Detroit and from across the country to honor the 20-year veteran at the Cathedral of the Most Blessed Sacrament in Detroit. Ramsey died over the weekend after battling back-to-back fires. He was a member of Squad 3 on Detroit's east side. He was just 50 years old. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you about the special announcement Mayor Duggan made at Ramsey's funeral, something aimed at helping all Detroit firefighters. Well, we are expecting to learn more about the suspect in the firebombing that left a man dead on the city's west side.
This all happened this morning off Cruz, north of Grand River. One woman who escaped from the home told investigators someone threw something into the house, then fled the scene. Firefighters pulled a 23-year-old man from the home. He died on the way to the hospital. Both suspects and the vehicle they were in have yet to be identified. The man that led police on a chase through Plymouth Township is now behind bars.
You saw this here first at noon. We followed the search from Sky 4 as this chase began in the area of I-275 and M14. Police made pretty quick work of finding their man after he took off from his truck, which he left near some train tracks behind a nearby Home Depot. He was apprehended at a gas station at 5 Mile and Beck Roads.
Right now in Northville Township, work to repair a gas leak continues. Crews hit a Consumers Energy gas line and DTE electric line just before noon today in Northville Township. Happened in the area of North Ridge Drive and Cardine Way. 2 apartment buildings and 2 homes were evacuated. At last check, crews were still working to fix that leak so everyone could return home.
Some breaking developments right now in Washington. The Wall Street Journal is reporting special counsel Robert Mueller has launched a grand jury in the Russia investigation. This as President Trump headed to West Virginia for a rally, but not before his White House is forced to deal with yet another leak. Blaine Alexander has more from Washington. Blaine.
Well, Devin, Washington may be feeling a little bit more empty these days now that Congress is officially on recess, and President Trump and his staff are preparing to be displaced now for more than 2 weeks as the White House undergoes renovations. Summer break has officially begun in Washington. Today, the Senate getting out of town after an extra week at work and not much to show for it. But not before a parting jab from President Trump on Twitter. Our relationship with Russia is at an all-time and very dangerous low. You can thank Congress, the same people that can't even give us health care.
Why does President Trump have a different view of Russia? And that's going to keep people asking questions.
Meanwhile, the White House dealing with the embarrassment of yet another leak. Transcripts of the president's contentious first conversations back in January with the leaders of Australia and Mexico. Also, questions raised by an exclusive NBC News report that President Trump is frustrated with the Pentagon strategy in Afghanistan, suggesting the top commander there, General John Nicholson, should be fired. Today, even members of the president's own team defending the general.
I can't imagine a more capable commander on any mission.
This coming on the same day as news of 2 U.S. soldiers killed in a suicide attack in Afghanistan.
I think we have a huge investment in Afghanistan. What we don't want is for it to once again become a stronghold for ISIS or any other terrorist group.
Inside the White House, President Trump unveiling a new plan for better health care for those who fought in Afghanistan and all veterans.
And President Trump on friendly ground tonight at that rally in West Virginia. This as new poll numbers show that his national approval rating is hovering at an all-time low. At the White House, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
All right, Blaine, one more note about that rally with West Virginia tonight. He'll be there with the governor of West Virginia, Jim Justice. Now, he's a Democrat, but he's expected to announce that he's changing parties and becoming a Republican. Well, Local 4 News at 5, just getting started.
Yeah, we've got a lot ahead in this next hour, including a new twist in the Kwame Kilpatrick case. The defender's uncovering new details in his bid to reduce the money he owes the city. And we're taking you to one of Metro Detroit's most anticipated store openings. Jason?
A truck that came flying out of nowhere with victims nowhere to go. Now our first look at new video of the crash.
It's new at 6.
It was just a few days ago, 4 young men brought into court and charged for throwing rocks at cars on a freeway. New at 6 why there are suddenly doubts about who was actually putting drivers in danger.
Also, police always enjoy getting good tips from the public, but some people are going about it the wrong way. At 6 o'clock, what the Oakland County Sheriff prefers you not do when you spot trouble.
Brand new video shows the heart-stopping moment of impact as a pickup truck slams into a bus full of people. It's absolutely incredible that all 6 people inside that bus stop survived this horrible crash yesterday in Warren.
And it was so crowded because they were all trying to stay out of the rain. Jason Colthorpe has the latest information about the crash and the driver of the truck. Jason.
Warren police back on scene today doing some more investigating of this awful crash that injured 6 people. We're also getting our first look at how it happened, courtesy of surveillance video on the side of the subway. The terrifying moment, a pickup loses control on 12 Mile Road and going sideways takes out a smart bus stop vestibule and the 6 people inside it. Pictures of the aftermath also show 4 of those victims trapped underneath the truck. Police say all 6 are still hospitalized with lots of broken bones. 1 person has a back injury. One of those victims also a woman who works at the Tim Hortons across the street. I'm told she has injuries all over her body.
Could have been me.
Nancy Langoski was not working at Subway yesterday, but she normally does and would have been at the bus stop.
Oh, it hit me pretty hard, yeah. It hit me very hard, like I said, because I always work on Wednesdays. And I'm just grateful I wasn't there, but I feel very bad for the people who were.
Police arrested the 55-year-old driver and think alcohol was a factor. He'll likely be charged with felonious drunk driving causing serious injury. Clearly, alcohol, the likely factor here, but some say speed is also a big problem at that spot.
I will not sit inside that vestibule area for that reason, because they fly by, and God forbid, like yesterday that happened, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, Jason, what is the status of the driver now?
He remains in jail, Devin. He could be charged tomorrow, I'm told. As you saw, the investigators were still out there today.
Yeah.
They want to make sure they get this all buttoned up as best they can. There could be charges. He could be arraigned tomorrow, but it's a 55-year-old man from Roseville is who we know him to be right now. And again, it could be felonious injuring people, but also the suspicion of drunk driving involved in that as well. Devin.
We'll stay on it, all right, Jason.
All right, we got Ben back, and earlier he showed us how radar was starting to light up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, last night you saw what the rain did when it came down so intense that it caused flooding issues. And even though we don't have any right now, that's one of the things that we are worried about. Let's start with 4 Live Radar and show you that there are numerous thunderstorms out there right now. There's definitely a lot of lightning, and even though these are not at severe limits, the rainfall rates that are coming down within these storms are definitely on the heavier side, especially here between Port Huron and that southwest corner of Oakland County out towards the South Lyon. You can see there's multiple thunderstorms here. They're not in a huge hurry to move to the north, but they are moving faster than what we saw yesterday. They're migrating at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. And as you see, they're pushing to the north with definitely a lot of lightning embedded within them. Over the last 12 hours, and this is just really from the afternoon and early evening storms, some places have already picked up over 2 inches of rain. There was a flood advisory out for this portion of Macomb County earlier today. That got canceled early. You can see just north of the Oakland County line, 2.3 inches there, southwest of Metamora. And over here in Sanilac County, multiple places with over 2 inches of rain as well. So we still have more to go. And as we told you at the top of the show, we could be seeing more thunderstorms before we start to die down as we head into the overnight hours. So timing it out, we will have this thunderstorm threat, and it is a severe threat all the way through about midnight tonight. Once we get past 12 o'clock, we should see things die down temporarily. Could see storms reappear right around sunrise tomorrow morning, maybe even just before. And even though Friday is looking mostly dry, cold front is going to chase most of this activity off. But by the time we get to noon, when temperatures start heating up, there will be some activity along that front. It depends on how far east it has gotten. If you believe this model, which we do right now, most of this is going to be on the far east side. So a good chunk of us are going to stay almost completely dry through Friday. In the nighttime hours, there's just a chance that some of that light rain on the backside of that could sweep through. It's not a severe threat at all. And then the weekend looks mainly dry until we get to late Sunday. And then we're looking at rain, not thunderstorms, to close out the weekend. So tonight we'll go down to the 60s. Highs tomorrow go to 74, but that's at Metro. And look at how wide these temperatures are going to range because of where that front's coming through and the timing. Some of the last places to see the front clear will be able to make it 76, 77. Again, we'll call it 74 officially at the airport, but some of the places where that front clears first, like out here in Lenawee County, 69 for highs, low 70s out here in Monroe County. West zone temperatures, again, coolest spots will be out here towards the western edge of Livingston and Washtenaw counties, where we're going to be at 69 and 70, 73 here in Canton and Novi, and north of M59 tomorrow. Some of our warmest temperatures may actually show up in our north zone, and we don't really say that all that often. Romeo 76, Macomb 77, Rochester Hills will see 77 tomorrow. In fact, double sevens are what most of us are going to get on Saturday and Sunday. Plus the humidity is going to go down after we get through the end of Friday. So that's going to stay with us through the weekend. Monday looks like a good soaking rain, which some of us may not need after what we get through tonight. I know a lot of folks have been looking for a good rain. Yeah. And it's come down in buckets here.
Plenty.
Last couple days.
Some flooding even last night.
Could be seeing more tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben. Well, he's gone from flying high in the NBA to a prison cell. New tonight how long former MSU star Keith Appling will spend behind bars.
But first, some are saying this could be the most revolutionary medical breakthrough ever. What CRISPR is and how it could make so many common afflictions a thing of the past.
While you're sleeping, big news can break.
A missing 2-year-old girl. You might have gotten that Amber Alert on your smartphone.
That's why Detroit wakes up to Local 4 News and Click on Detroit.
This is a developing news situation.
Local 4 News is on the scene.
Live on Facebook.
This chase just, dizzying. Knife on the dash of the suspect's car.
He came around that corner fast.
For news you need to know.
Kid's okay. And this Amber Alert seems to be over.
Credible and reliable, here for you.
Welcome back. It's called CRISPR, and it's spelled CRISPR. Yes, that's how it's spelled there. And it may be the most revolutionary medical discovery you've never heard of.
Yeah, researchers have used CRISPR now to successfully edit the genes of a human embryo, removing a harmful mutation and in the process touching off a heated debate. Doctors at Oregon Health and Science University conducted the groundbreaking research. Their target? An inherited heart disease that often leads to sudden death in young athletes. Scientists say they successfully edited genes in dozens of embryos to remove the mutation that causes the disease, while not triggering any harmful new mutations. They use technology called CRISPR, a tool that allows them to remove and replace unwanted sections of genetic material. It's a method they say could eventually help eliminate thousands of inherited diseases. But some fear the technology could also be used to create so-called designer babies, controlling things like intelligence, height, hair color. Researchers say that is not a reason to ignore the potential good.
Just because we worry about this unintended use, we think that you cannot just ban good part of the research into this area where we really not trying to modify genes, but actually correct already modified, so-called mutant genes to make them normal.
Kick that one around the dinner table tonight. One of the researchers says now that the technical hurdles have been cleared, it's time to wrestle with these ethical and societal questions that this breakthrough raises.
New at 5:30.
Your car and the technology inside could be making it easy for thieves to get your personal information. We'll show you how to protect yourself.
So, is everyone having fun?
Yeah!
These girls loving their time on the ice and off, thanks to a program that's hopefully giving you power!
Kwame Kilpatrick's big trip back to the D is off. Coming up, what made a federal judge cancel the former mayor's scheduled court hearing here in Michigan.
It's time for
a surprise twist today in the Kwame Kilpatrick saga as a judge puts a halt on his return back to Detroit. Kwame Kilpatrick was set to return to federal court in Detroit later this month for a hearing.
Well, now it looks like the former mayor won't be leaving the El Reno Correctional Facility in Oklahoma after all. Defender Kevin Dietz here now with more on what happened.
Yeah, this whole ordeal is about a restitution bill that Kwame Kilpatrick cannot afford to pay. Kilpatrick wants to pay less. The feds want him to pay more. Instead of a showdown in court, the feds agreed to lower the number. Kwame Kilpatrick's field trip to Detroit is off. The judge canceling a restitution hearing that would have brought Kilpatrick back to the very courtroom he was convicted in 2013. Kilpatrick is 4 years into a 28-year federal prison sentence being served in El Reno, Oklahoma. The former mayor has been fighting to lower his restitution bill to Detroit, originally dropped from $4.5 million to $1.6 million. The Court of Appeals put the number at $1.5 million, and today prosecutors agreed, eliminating the need for Kilpatrick to come to Detroit for a hearing.
This is only about fixing a number and not about collection.
The Court of Appeals ruled, quote, that the restitution calculation was erroneous and should have been based more specifically on the Water Department's loss rather than on Kilpatrick's gain. In a separate issue, Kilpatrick is representing himself in a motion asking Judge Nancy Edmonds to vacate his racketeering conviction and set aside the prison sentence so he can go free.
The government has to file a response, and the judge is then going to make a decision, and I'm not going to give odds on these kinds of things at the present time.
Kilpatrick claimed, quote, the jury was given incorrect use of the definition of official act. There was insufficient evidence he committed an official act and may have been convicted for conduct that was unlawful. Kilpatrick also said, quote, the court erred when it denied his request and motion for a new trial counsel. The federal appeals court has denied Kilpatrick. Now Judge Edmonds must decide if Kilpatrick's arguments are valid. Kilpatrick is not happy with any of this. He wanted to come to court in Detroit and convince the judge that he should not have to pay any money to the city of Detroit. In this next few days, his attorney will file a new motion saying Kilpatrick deserves that day in court and ask that a new hearing date be scheduled. Devin?
So I guess where we are now, I guess he can still try to convince the judge on the sentence, but other than that, we're pretty much down to something like a presidential pardon is his last avenue.
Yeah, all his appeals have been exhausted. He is done. If he doesn't get the judge to change her mind or pardon, he's going to serve 24 more years in prison.
That's it. All right, Kim. Kim?
All right, over here in the Weather Center with Ben. I told you a couple weeks ago I got some new grass, and I've appreciated the rain. However, I don't want it in buckets or to get flooded out here like you're talking that it might happen.
You know, Kim, we have a lot of orders in ahead of you.
So I'll have to get in line.
But since I know you pretty well, we'll see what we can do. Right now, there's nothing there on your spots, but some places are definitely getting some rain right now. And the good thing is these storms are not severe. So there's some downpours and lightning and maybe some small hail, but that's about it. We haven't had any reports of strong winds with any of these thunderstorms. Manchester and Chelsea are getting a little bit of brushed with these storms as they sort of move inside the county line there in Washtenaw County. All kinds of stuff going on in Oakland County, and it's mostly moderate to heavy rain. Just a couple lightning strikes showing up there, and the northern extent of that pushes up towards Almont and then out towards the lakeshore here with a little bit weaker activity that's right around 69 west of Port Huron. So again, no severe thunderstorm warnings right now, but that risk is still there at least through about midnight tonight. So we'll talk about how much longer we can expect to see thunderstorms this week. It's more than just tonight. We'll check that out in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, Ben. 2 men were wounded in a shooting after an altercation at a gas station in Dearborn. Dearborn police say a man and a woman were arguing last night at this Citgo station. This is on Greenfield Road in Tyerman. The man allegedly punched the woman, then left. The woman followed him and called her brother, who is a CPL holder. Police say the brother shot the man and another man. Both had non-life-threatening injuries, but the brother was arrested, though has not yet been charged.
Former Michigan State basketball star Keith Appling will spend 1 year behind bars without early release.
Appling was sentenced this morning after taking a plea deal last month. He pleaded guilty to 1 count of carrying a concealed weapon and 1 count of attempting to resist and obstruct a police officer. Charges came out of an incident last August in Detroit, which was his 3rd arrest in 6 months, you may recall. But today, Appling told the judge he is ready to try to get his life back on track.
I know I made some mistakes, but I definitely learned from them, and I'm just ready to get my life back on track. And once all this is resolved, Your Honor, I promise you that you will never see my face in the court of law ever again.
In addition to a year in jail, Appling is also going to have to serve 5 years on probation.
3 men are charged in a bribery scheme in an effort to open a marijuana dispensary in Garden City. Mike Ali and Jalal Baydon are accused of bribing the mayor of Garden City, police chief, and 3 council members. It was to obtain authorization to open a medical marijuana dispensary. The indictment also alleges the Baydons bribed 3 council members with $5,000 each. The 3 also conspired to place $150,000 into escrow to fund future bribes.
The Massachusetts woman convicted of urging her teenage boyfriend to kill himself is going to spend at least 15 months in jail.
Prosecutors asked the judge to give Michelle Carter 7 to 12 years behind bars. Carter's legal team asked the judge to give her probation. The case centered around the 2014 suicide of 18-year-old Conrad Roy, who killed himself after exchanging dozens of text messages with the then 17-year-old. Before she was sentenced, Roy's younger sister broke down in court talking about the struggle of losing her brother.
He gave me an amazing 13 years, being my best friend and the best role model any little sister could ask for. Not a day goes by without him being my first thought waking up and my last thought going to bed.
After Carter was sentenced, the judge granted a defense motion that keeps her out of jail until her appeals in Massachusetts courts are exhausted.
Today we are hearing about how the city of Detroit is preparing for next Tuesday's primary election and trying to improve voter experience. City Clerk Janice Winfrey shared the details today. She says there will be more than 600 new state-of-the-art voting machines in place when you go to cast your ballots on Tuesday. Election workers are also getting extensive training, we're told, on how to operate these new machines. Winfrey says large voter turnout is expected, but everyone is still being encouraged to come out and have their voices heard. We want you to be prepared to vote in next week's primary. We've interviewed every candidate for mayor, city clerk, and city council. You can check out the videos from all of them at clickondetroit.com. We've got the link on the home page as you prepare for next Tuesday's primary.
Well, it may be just one of the most anticipated store openings in Macomb County this year. Today, outdoor retail giant Cabela's opened its first Metro Detroit location in Chesterfield Township. And to say people were excited is a bit of an understatement. Our Tim Pamplin was there.
Build it and they shall come, and they certainly flocked to the new Cabela's in Chesterfield Township today. Upstairs in Sky 4, parking in the fields they were. Once you get inside, the centerpiece is this massive outdoors display as hunters look on wistfully at some of the prey. Not just stuffed animals, real animals are welcome to. Bring your pooch to Cabela's. I'm also noticing a lot of parents and grandparents bringing their grandkids out. It's all about having fun.
I mean, that's what we sell here. We sell fun. So having those products so close, before they had a big long drive. So having them come here to Chesterfield has been fantastic, and they're really loving the store. The feedback's been fantastic.
Yes, that's right. If you're on the east side, no need to head out to Dundee. Like I say, I'm seeing lots of parents bringing their kids out, teaching them all about the outdoors, whether it be bow hunting, canoeing, kayaking, fishing, shooting with little guns, shooting with big guns. shooting up a ladder, shooting inside a tent. Who would shoot from inside a tent? And enough camouflage to equip an arm. Oh, hang on, that is the Army. Like I say, it's all about having fun.
This is what it's all about. You got to get these kids involved in this kind of stuff early. He's going to be 4 years old Monday, and he loves the outdoors. He just came back from the up north fishing and hunting. I'm going to get him into all this.
So back out here with lines wrapped around the store with people ready to check out. As our state motto says, if you seek a pleasant peninsula, look about you. That's the scene at the Cabela's grand opening in Chesterfield Township today. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Oh, okay, Tim. Olympic skating champion Merrill Davis hosted a special skating camp today.
But not just about doing spins and toe loops. It's also about giving young girls a healthy dose of empowerment. And our Jamie Edmonds was there.
Just look at all of the skates lined up, waiting for little feet. We've got the helmets as well, and excitement is building to get on that ice.
Hi.
Getting ready is certainly a process, but it's worth it for this. Girls from all over Detroit getting a chance to do something at least some have never done before.
Let's go! Let's go!
Figure skating for girls has really not been available, particularly for girls of color, but now it is.
This is figure skating in Detroit, an expansion of a successful youth program that started in Harlem. This week-long summer camp at the Detroit Skating Club is a little teaser of what the fall after-school program will be like. Girls aged 6 to 15 getting on-ice instruction from many, including an Olympic gold medalist.
It's just so fun to see them love the ice in such a pure way. You know, it's all about fun for them.
Wonderful. And off-ice classroom experiences, learning everything from STEM to entrepreneurship.
Learning how to make a website, basically. It's very challenging.
Lesson 1, when you fall, get right back up again. Lesson 2, girls can be anything they want to be.
The dream is to have these young ladies grow up so that they can be these global leaders.
Figure skating in Detroit not stopping with just this camp. In fact, they're now gaining momentum. The year-long program begins in October, and if you're interested, I'll put all the information on clickondetroit.com. On the ice with some amazing girls. Jamie Edmonds, Local 4.
They can learn a little from Jamie, too.
You're
She's
right.
quite the skater.
A fantastic program, though, and it's so important for those young girls to get that exposure and
so right.
Just
Looks like it was kicking in, too. It's the one thing more than half of American couples argue about. New tonight, what it is and why a new study shows it's only getting worse. Also, a small plane crashes as a police dash cam is rolling. New here at 5:30, what we now know about who was on board and what may have caused it.
Your phone, when it's used in your vehicle, could thieves hack in and get that personal information? We investigate. New tonight.
This week on New at 6.
A 75-year-old Clinton Township man robbed, tied up during a home invasion and robbery. But then there's a happy ending to the story. No, there's no suspect in custody, but it's pretty close.
All right, Nick, also the surprising thing a shoplifter said as he ran from a store in Bloomfield Township at 6 o'clock.
Those stories coming up, but first, you are being tracked from the places you go to the pictures you take to the people you talk to, and you will be stunned by what's doing it. Believe it or not, it's all happening through your car.
Yeah, if you have a car that is just a few years old, the computers inside of it are keeping a lot of information you didn't even know it was getting. We bring in our consumer investigator, Hank Winchester, joins us live to show us how your car may be logging that information, which I guess, Hank, means that hackers can get to it too.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, Devin and Kimberly. I mean, we all love having our phones and having our phones hooked up to the technology inside of our cars, but you have to be careful. Take a look as to why. Your newer car, it's a modern marvel.
There's 62 or more computers. All in all, it is a frightening thing.
And those tiny CPUs are crunching massive amounts of data, 25 gigabytes per mile in some cases. You may think, well, I don't really care, but think about this. Every text message, every photo, every phone number from your phone is transferred here to your vehicle. Would you care if someone could get that information? Current car infotainment systems, especially the newer models, know more about you than you do. And it starts the moment you first pair your cell phone with your vehicle.
Anything that's on your phone transfers. Yes.
That infotainment system becomes even more connected with other systems, including like a driving app.
The government has a great interest in the ability to get that data. The Department of Homeland Security has partnered with a technology company called Burla. They're trying to come up with a cost-effective way for law enforcement to access data in vehicles. Burla can take a look at what your car stores, where you've been, how fast you've been going, who you've talked to, texted on the way. The software also makes note of what the driver tried to delete on his or her phone. And even with the government and tech companies working on this issue right now, remember this: anyone with the right information could get your information.
They're starting to get into cybersecurity in the manufacturer level, but it's still the Wild West out there.
Worst case scenario is generally home theft. So they're looking at, again, they've got your home address, they've got your garage door opener. They can access your home, they'll take your personal items and abscond with them.
They can track everything: my current position, which is the station, West Lafayette here in Detroit, my phone book, all my contacts. All that information could be available to hackers. You have to be smart when using this technology. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, Devin Kimberly, back to you.
Well, Hank, I'm imagining a lot of people wondering if there is a way to make sure that your car is not storing information.
And it's really tricky, Devin. I mean, you really have to talk with your dealer. You have to look at your owner's manual. You have to try to find ways to clear that information. Also, it's important if you're renting a car and you're syncing the information, make sure when you bring that vehicle back, you ask them to clear out the computer information. You don't want that available in the wrong hands.